Hi, my name is Kevin Bivens, but I go by Blake, and today I'm going to talk to you about constructivism. Constructivism is a theory about how people learn. Events and activities that they partake in life can offer different points of views that break away from the norm, but when people go back and recall that information and actually think about it, that's when they start to learn. Two foundational theorists on constructivism are Jean Piaget and John Dewey. Jean mainly focused on building that increased the depth and complexity from stage to stage. And John Dewey, he refused to accept current authoritarian teaching techniques and worked to change the pedagogical methods in the curriculum, breaking away from the norm. How constructivism can differ from the traditional classroom setting. First, we have curriculum. With the curriculum, focuses on the big concepts and expanding all parts, where you focus on the whole, but you also break everything down into little tiny meanings that pretty much make up everything to deal with what you're talking about, so you can really get the point across. Second, we have how students are viewed. There's a lot of emphasis on student learning and activities. In this particular classroom setting, the student is the main focus. The teacher's there just to give the lesson, but the student actually has the floor in a classroom to where they can really question and answer, Q&A, and really just gain all the information they can. Third, we have how students work. There's a lot of interaction and a lot of group work, and the teacher is interacting as well. We'll talk about that in a later slide. But within the group work, students have the opportunity to work together and to have different points of view and come to a consensus, if they can, on what the actual right answer is. Next, we have the teacher's role, which I just talked about. But there's collaborative and fixed on discussions. A teacher can walk around and do the Q&A, of course, but they can also have a relationship, a school relationship, with the student and answer any questions that they really have. Next, we have the assessment. Student works, observations, points of view from the student. And as well as in constructivism, the process is more important or just as much important as the product. You can't get the product, the correct product, without having the right process to go through. Next, we have the PAR model. This stands for Present, Apply, and Review. This is a correct model on how to properly, in a constructivism classroom, structure your lessons to where you have certain percentages or certain amounts of time you focus on one thing before you move to the next to make sure they get everything they need. Students get everything they need. In the present part, you show and demonstrate knowledge, reasoning, and theories. You give everything you can and you break it down into little tiny bits of information to where the students know or what they need to know about the topic at hand. Next comes the apply. This is where they're given tasks that require them to recall the information they've been given, such as quizzes or tests. In my life, I can apply the apply part to me teaching guitar to students. When I'm teaching guitar to a student and I set my guitar down and I say, okay, play what you just played me. That might seem harsh to some people, but if they can start playing and get it right, that's great. You know, they're really learning. But if they start playing and you hear them mess up and they know they mess up, they don't even have to look up at you and they automatically correct themselves. That's where you know they have the big picture. And that makes me feel great as a teacher teaching guitar. And hopefully one day teaching in a classroom, I can do the same thing. Then there comes the review process. This is where you summarize and clarify, and you emphasize on the key points of the lessons. Just like teaching guitar, teaching in a classroom, Bible study, you emphasize on the key points, the things that the students really need to know. And if they have any questions, you can answer about the small stuff. But once you get all the small stuff, they can grasp the big stuff. And for the last part, how I can provide a scenario of a topic using a PAR model with a constructivism approach. I don't have this on my PowerPoint because it really wasn't a question. It just said provide. So how I would use it, being in a secondary ed, hopefully teaching college with a social sciences degree, say I'm teaching economics and I am discussing budget plans. Now, if you want to talk to really anyone in politics about budget plans, you would have a mixed amount of views and really no consensus. But if you want to get to the numbers and what actually works, you could lay down sheets of paper, say with different numbers for different departments, say in the school system, school board, or even the country as a whole, like macroeconomics. But you lay everything out, you tell the students everything they need to know. Then the second step will be apply. So you could test them on it or have group discussions with grades, depending on participation. And third, you could have the review. You could summarize and clarify and just show them the key points they really need to know, and also the big things they pointed out and some things they could have missed. You could just apply to them like that. So thank you for listening and hope to see you soon.